Welcome to our TV network, your ultimate destination for all things exciting and essential. From mouth-watering food to the latest in fashion, health, education, music, movies, and news, plus thrilling sports and breathtaking travel, our TV network brings it all to you. Tune in today and experience the best of every world, all in one place, rtv.network.
Hello, and welcome to the Coaxum Report. My name is Terry Coaxum, and I am delighted to welcome Raven Robinson. Raven, how are you?
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. So, Raven, you are on the Coaxum Report. And those of you that are just tuning in, you can catch us on Roku, you can catch us on Apple, on Fire TV, and you can catch us on ourtv.network. I encourage you to download the app. And we are also simultaneously on WSTX Bloomberg. So it is truly a pleasure, Raven, to have you on today. So, Raven, I want to first start off, Coaxum Connects is really, the Coaxum Report is really about talking to industry leaders about barriers, best practices, and big ideas. But you are in a space that is not traditionally a a space for women. And so I just want to start off by talking to you a little bit about who is Raven Robinson and what made you do what you do as a PR consultant, as a media consultant, and all the different genres that you work in. I mean, you work in so many industries. My hats are off to you right now, understanding your portfolio of work. So talk to me, Raven. Who is Raven Robinson, and how did you get to be where you are right now?
Of course, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be in fellowship and community with you. I just to take a step back. I am from the South Bronx, and growing up in the inner city, I always had big ideas, and I always loved people, and I always loved community. And sometimes that energy wasn't always reflected in the right way. So I feel like growing up, I wanted to rap. I wanted to just be like spotlighted or different, and I can't rap.
Wait, I was just going to ask you, like, wait a minute, rap? Okay,
not right, but it's like the importance of like mentorship, right? Because I was, I acted a little crazy in school. I was always into rap music, just like lifestyle, big ideas. And one day I had a mentor, and at that time I was in ninth grade. I was already failing classes, already cutting school. I went to high school in the South Bronx, Morris. I believe it closed down now. I was performing pretty bad. It was like a lot of violence during the like late 90s and early 2000s when I went. So
Right.
I eventually ended closing down. But during my time there, of course, participating in the antics. And I had a mentor. She worked at the Children's Aid Society. And anyone who's watching who does nonprofit work knows, even though you have one title, you do other things. So
That's
she
right.
was the on-site coordinator from my school, but then she also was the person who went to Albany and asked like for funding. So she had a lot of close government relationships. So
Right.
when she would see how I would like advocate, speak up, I was never like afraid to do those things, to tell me like, I think that your energy or your skill set is positioned in the wrong ways. I think that you would
I
actually
love that.
really good at politics. Now, growing up, I didn't know anyone who worked in politics. I didn't even know anyone, to be quite honest, with like in a career. So it was like besides like a teacher. So it was like so foreign to me. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And during that time, summer youth was emerging, and how it used to be now, the kids now are lucky. You sign up, you kind of get it. There's so many different sites. When I was younger, it was a limited slots, and it was like a more of a lottery. or you had to like participate in their programming year round, and then it was limited spots. So the two options that she had was that you could work at one of the Children Aid Society summer camps. My answer to her, even though I was young and I did need money, I was like, no, I don't want to run behind kids. Like, why would I do that? Mind you, I'm 15. Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, well, why don't you do an internship with a state senator? Because again, she had these direct relationships, as you know, because she was the person directly making the acts on behalf of the Children Aid Society. So I'm from the South section of the Bronx. During that time, Ruben Diaz was my state senator, but again,
Yes.
myself and those around me were not into government. So even though his office was maybe 3 blocks from me, I still didn't know who he was. I remember seeing his name in a lot of his initiatives as it relates to like the basketball tournaments and other things, but it had no correlation. Even some of the adults in my life were like, wait, I thought Hillary was our senator. And then that confused
Like,
me. So
U.S. Senator, ma'am,
I
sir.
was like, oh, yes. And then that made me like want to pour into it. So I
Wow.
remember my mentors is the it's something that our friend Senator Parker always say of like seeing the forest and not the tree, and I feel like
That's
that's
right. That's right.
for me because even up into that last moment, it never treated me weird, but even up into that last moment, I said to her, she said to me, I think this would be good for you. I know you don't want to necessarily do a summer camp, but I think this would be good for you. I only have 5 or 6 slots. But I want to give it to you, and I think this will be good for you. Mind you, I was supposed to go to summer school that year because I had already failed that last whole semester. So she was like, "We'll figure that out on a back end that you should do this." And I was like, "I mean, can I dress up?" And she was like, "Oh my God,
It's
yes, you
like
can."
your priorities, ma'am.
Yeah, priorities. So even in that last moment, and she said, "Yes, Raven, you can dress up." I said, "Okay, it can't be that bad. I got AC as an office.
Right.
I'll do it." I walked in, and this lady was getting evicted, and I remember she was with her kids. They were in the lobby of the office, and Senator Ruben Diaz called the judge. Got the marshals, got her one-shot deal, and it was at that
Wow.
moment, literally. And I know people tell their story and they try to sound
Like, you're
exaggerated,
giving
but
me chills because I know Ruben personally. Like, and
like
he,
that. If you know him
yeah,
personally, you know he's on that.
that's
So
it all
Mhm.
day.
So for me, it literally was that moment because I
Wow.
felt like growing up, I did know a lot of people who had money, whether it was for the wrong things or they rapped or they did things, but I never knew anyone who had that level of power to call a judge.
That's right. That's
And I
right.
think that it was in that moment that I was like, I love advocating for people. I love to speak up, but these are the type of relationships that I want. And if I can be, I think that for so long growing up in the inner city, the reality for me always seems of you do the right thing and you don't have money. Because I remember growing up, a lot of my teachers were like, on the bus with me. They didn't drive. They brought their lunch. It didn't seem like they were living like a life. But then it's like all the people who were doing the wrong things and rapping, it seemed like they was living the life. So as
Right.
somebody who was already growing up poor, it just wasn't as enticing to me, to the point where I used to tell my mentor, I don't think I want to go to college. I don't think it makes sense because by the time you pay back your student loans, that you don't have any money. And these were the things that I was saying to her at such a
Wow.
young age. And I really have a lot of respect for her because I feel like she was able to be empathetic and really realize this young person doesn't even know her own potential and she
That's
doesn't
right.
even know what she's saying. She just has a limited scope
Right.
versus some people who would have been like, oh my God, it's over for her. She's, you know what I mean? But at
Right.
15, it's not over for you.
That's
It's
right.
just, it's just the
First of all,
beginning.
I want to pause because you're like glossing over this, and there's so many nuggets that I need to emphasize on. First of all, mentorship matter,
It
right?
does. It can
So
really change perspective.
absolutely. Your scope is limited because of your access, right? So access matter, networks matter. The fact that
Absolutely.
she was the chief cook, bottle washer, candlestick maker at the
Yeah, literally.
everything,
On top of having her own life.
right. And
Mhm.
she saw in you something that you didn't see in yourself. And I think that it's also important, especially, I'm glad you're on the show. I'm glad we're able to share this story so that other young people can see, hey, if Raven can do this, so can I. A lot of times it's just expanding your scope. It's just giving you
Absolutely.
access. It's just placing you in a place where you see where money, power, and respect are very different and can be yours, right? So,
Absolutely.
like I said, I know Ruben personally. Ruben really is down for the cause. He's always been. He gives his 110% every single time. So yeah, he's the one on the phone making the calls. He's the one showing up at the spot. He's the one that's making sure that his constituents had what they needed, regardless of whatever position he's in. And then we personally take, we take credit for him because he's CUNY, right? So I graduated from John Jay. We take credit for him and Marcos Crespo. We're like, yeah, those are CUNY.
At the time, Marcos was
right.
chief of, wasn't even chief of staff, was his special assistant, because Camilla, God bless her, was his chief of staff.
That's right.
Even to watch that trajectory was really important to me, because at the time, the assembly member Ruben Diaz Jr. was an assemblyman, and they spoke about his trajectory of running for borough president.
That's right.
And that was the first time in my life, from a career perspective, that I heard someone talk about something in 2005, and then in 2010 it became surreal. Reality. And one of the things that I will not gloss over, the importance of mentorship. One of the things that I always charge to people is like, two things. Like, yes, some young people have a limited scope, just circumstantial, but also for us as older people, even myself as I'm aging, to be empathetic to young people, because there are times where I feel like a lot of us judge young people, whether it's on the bus, but it's like, if they really do not know, they really don't know. Because I always tell people, when people always asking me, like, how do you remain humble? Like, even like with like electors knowing you and awards and things like that. It's like, because in my heart, I know if it wasn't for this one mentor, I don't even know if this is possible, if we would have met all the things. And that's like so real for me.
But your mentor and your network, your mentor and her network, which became your network, and your network is your net worth.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think that for me, and even for myself, right? Like I remember, like, going to school late or cutting school and doing all these things and just not feeling like I cared. And it was so funny, because I remember when I started my internship, and they would ask me, like, just having conversations with interns, right? Like, oh, what school do you go to? Are you thinking about college? What I used to be so proud of like being bad, being loud, being, destructive, it actually became embarrassing to me personally.
Wow.
So I remember thinking to myself, okay, I went to school, I signed up for night school to make up all those classes, because I was like, how embarrassing this will be to be interning with a state senator and you're failing, or you doing this and you doing that. So
your mentor knew what she was doing, so we'll figure it out later. She knew.
Exactly. So it's like, on my own, I feel like I had something to make me feel so prideful about. Even though I was only at an intern capacity,
that's right,
I still felt the proudness of, like, how can you be? Everyone knows that Morris High School wasn't doing that well, so how smart will that make me look? If how you feeling in a failing school, like, like that just not showing up. So I was like, oh yeah, no, we not.
You turned it around. You turned it around, and that's important. Like, so one of the things that I want to really emphasize here, one, you had a mentor, she had a network that became your network, and it's now your net worth. You went into the state senator's office with no expectation. You literally went there kind of to appease her, okay, because she's not going to give up. So let me just go into the office, right?
Absolutely.
But then when you got there, you realized that the people in your community who you see every day are having these challenges and struggles that this senator is helping them to get through. So then you became not just empathetic to them, you became you really took on whatever they were going through, and it became your cause as well. Because then you could say to your friends, hey, your mother's going through so and so. Oh, you need to talk to this person.
Things that I did not know. And that's literally what happened.
Yeah.
It literally was like, oh wait, your food stamps is cut off. Girl, just come to the senator's office. Oh, this is my friend, and it really became that. And he was a really good person to intern for, because they called a special session around congestion pricing, which is crazy, because that's now again in fruition now. And this internship was in 2006, and it's in fruition now in 2025. And I was there when they were in those secret chamber sessions before the session, and I had to take notes, and even to see how laws are passed, bills are passed, things are negotiated. It really changed my perspective, because here these people are with their suits on, having a constructive dialogue about something that's real and helping people's lives. And in that moment, I knew for the rest of my life that I wanted to work in government. I wanted to work in politics, to be able to bridge that gap between community and the things that people want to do, whether it's a basketball program, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether you just need resources, you're someone that's incarcerated and coming home and need additional support, and you just don't know the words to say, don't know the staff for to ask for, don't know how to write that letter of support, don't know how to request it, don't know how to get letters of recommendation and things, and those things that seem so small to me now, but can be life changing. So that was big. But I can say that even at that time, I didn't know that I wanted to work in PR. I just wanted to work.
PR changes the game a bit, right? Doesn't it change the game a bit? Because I mean, you're gatekeeping now, right? Public affairs, media spaces, you're gatekeeping. So there's limited access, right? Limited access to decision makers without legacy networks. And you were able to create that network in the space that you were in, even though you were having a Pocahontas moment. I always say that because when I first came to New York, and I graduated from high school at 16 years old. When I first came to New York, I came to Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I worked at a bank manufacturer, Hanover Trust, Manny Hanny, right? And there was a lot of politics going on. My mentor, Marty Needleman, introduced me to Vito Lopez. Vito Lopez introduced me to politics. I drank the Kool-Aid, and the rest is history. But I say that when I realized how much that we needed that access in order to promote our community, it was like a Pocahontas moment for me. I was like, I learned things I never knew. I had no idea.
And that's the part. You know the things you learn, the things you never knew. Like I never knew that I didn't know that. Like how did I not know that? Like 3 branches of government that, like, you know, how did I know that? So now I go to college and I study political science, but I still am unaware on the role I want to play.
That's right.
People, you know, politics is the industry, but there's so many different fields within it. Like you could be the accountant, the treasurer, campaign manager, chief of staff. There's so many different capacities. And from there, I met some young ladies that worked, that went to college with me, and they all majored in PR, and they were part of a group of the Public Relations Student Society of America. And this is why kids who go to college, I always encourage them, it's not just about your academic, it's about your peer support too. And those people involved on campus. And they were a very ambitious group. What they would do, I want
to get into this ambitious group, but we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we're gonna come right back because I want to start on that group and how relationships matter, networks matter, and then being on a college campus, being involved matters. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we're gonna be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Imagine, if you will, a single point of connection that puts at your fingertips all of the things that we do in our daily lives with ease of access and convenience. Whether in your personal life, for work, travel, and entertainment with family, friends, and in your work life. The new OneConnect app is all you need to make your life more manageable and efficient in maximizing the best use of your time. The OneConnect app is your new connection in a world of busy people with lots to do and not enough time to get things done. OneConnect app was created with you in mind and is all you need. Download OneConnect app now. Also visit us at www.oneconnectapp.com.
Case efficacy chain, also known as chain of efficacy, a digital chain. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Educate, efficiency, effectiveness, and evolve. So whether you are doing market research, studying, doing market analysis, or making a critical financial decision, get the latest breaking, developing market news in the cryptocurrency markets at www.efficacycoin.com. Efficacy Cryptocurrency News is powered by Case Capital Markets.
imagine a world where the Caribbean is seamlessly connected, where our people, our cultures, and our economies move freely across the islands. This is Connect Caribbean, more than a ferry service. It's the heartbeat of a new era, an era where economic opportunities expand, where trade flows freely across our seas, and cultural exchange flourishes. We are linking businesses, empowering communities, and reigniting the hope for a truly integrated Caribbean. Together, we're shaping a brighter, more unified future for the Caribbean. Connect Caribbean, connecting our islands, our people, our future.
Third Wall Street is a new emerging global capital markets formation and structured trifactor financial hub at the U.S. third border in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, in the Caribbean and Latin America. The new Third Wall Street is the home of the Alexander Hamilton Financial Center and named in honor of Alexander Hamilton, an American founding father, first U.S. Treasury Secretary, and architect of the U.S. financial system and modern America. Third Wall Street is located in a U.S. National Heritage Area, Opportunity Zone, and the boyhood home of Alexander Hamilton in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Island, connecting 3 financial hubs in the Americas by way of new innovative financial technology and markets: New York Wall Street South, Brickell Avenue, Miami, and Third Wall Street in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and established the new Caribbean America's Single Economy Zone, developed by SETI Case Capital Markets. Third Wall Street will transform financial markets, improving access to capital worldwide. Visit www.
Welcome back to the Coaxum Report. We're having some phenomenal conversation with Raven Robinson of PR to Politics. You can catch us on our TV, and we're asking you to download the One Connect app so you can stay connected to us. And as we are here on our TV.net, we're also simultaneously on WSTX Bloomberg. So thank you so much, Raven, for being a part of the conversation. We started off by talking about how you got into the space that you were in, and you talked about being 15 years old and doing an internship at Senator Ruben Diaz's office, and how that changed your trajectory. Pretty much, walking in and seeing that there was an individual in the hallway with her children that had been evicted, and seeing the senator get on the phone with the lawyers, with the one-shot deal, with the judges, to make sure, with the marshal, making sure that this individual home was secure and safe for her and her children, and how that really changed everything for you. And I think that it was really important for you to share that story. But more importantly, Raven, early on, the decisions you made, the mentors, the network, the decisions, all of that was because you were in the rooms with the communicators, not just the consumers of information, right? So you were in the room with people that were making the decisions, right? And you were in the room making decisions, and that, kind of really push you forward to go to college, and which you didn't think you were going to do in the first place, right? But then you ended up going to college because you felt like, look, I'm in a room with this person doing great things. I can't be the one that's not doing my part, right? So you decided to go to night school to get all the extra classes you needed to push you forward. And then in even going to college, you stayed involved. And I think it's really important for us to really push that for young people that are in college. When you're in college, get involved in college. So your colleagues, your college peers, they became, your first political ecosystem, so to speak, because these friends understood messaging power and access, and they kind of really shared that with you, and you went into PR because that wasn't something that you were really looking to do, but your peers matter. So we talked about your mentor matter, your network matter, your peers matter, and being surrounded by like-minded individual normalizes ambition the same way it did when you were in school and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not that. All the other things that you were doing negatively. Your peers sharpen your instincts, testing your messaging, your debate, narratives, and challenging your assumption. So we went from talking about Raven and, really not knowing the direction you wanted to go into, being supportive, encouraged to go into a space, and then to even be pushed past your comfort zone now to go to college and be a part of PR. So we covered a lot of barriers, and so I want to kind of highlight that because you glossed over it like, yeah, I did this and that. No. This is important for anyone that's listening to us to know about the barriers that you went through. And then you even started talking about some of the best practices, being involved, having people that are like-minded in your circles and being able to move with them. My mom always said, if you're in the room and you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. You need to be in a room where people are smarter than you, that you can glean on them as well. And so I now want to talk a little bit about, because those were some barriers, right? I want to talk a little bit about your network in school and how that pushed you to go into PR. And then I want to talk about some of the best practices because messaging matters. And we know that every single day that if you control your narrative, you control your story, then you can control where you're going in life. And so it's important for us to get to that point so others can understand that you should be, even though this is a male-dominated industry, you should be doing what Raven's doing. And it's important for you to control your message and your narrative. So talk to us a little bit more about your friends and how they were able to really push you forward. And then what were some of the things that you were able to do in that space for best practices? And then we're going to end with some big ideas and solutions on individuals that want to do what you're doing.
Absolutely. So to be honest, prior to going to college, I never knew someone who was a publicist or even in PR. So that was all a learning curve for me. But there was an organization called the Public Relations Student Society of America. They are a national organization and they have campuses and chapters. Sorry, they have chapters on various college campuses. The young women who were already part of the club, when I met them, they were really ambitious. What they would do is they use the PR club to act like the PR firm for the school and the other clubs. So like, let's say you were part of the debate team, we would make your flyer. Let's say you were part of the multicultural team, we would go to student life
Wow.
for your event. We would go to campus radio and say, hey, just so you know, the debate team has a debate on Thursday. Can the president of the debate club come? So a lot of the same practices now, just doing it on a larger scale.
Right.
That was their idea. So when I came into it at their idea. I think the part that changed, but they wanted to do like lifestyle PR and like fashion PR. They had different industries they wanted to work in.
Right.
But seeing how they moved, it reminded me of like, wait, if I was to do this for politicians, this would really propel them.
That's right. Marketing, branding, messaging.
Times, Ruben Diaz was having events or giving funding and no one knew beyond his network.
Right.
Because at that time it was like MySpace. It wasn't as, things weren't as viral. So I said to myself, what if I did PR for elected officials?
Mm-hmm.
Just same way that I'm learning from these young women on how they did it. And I know I believe in God and there are no coincidences. So in 2009 was my first year really into the club. And they do a big annual conference for all the various chapters for the students to come together and build fellowship with one another. So in 2009, it was in San Francisco and it was about social media and how social media is going to be the next big thing, is going to emerge. At that time, Twitter just launched. I couldn't afford to go, but the conference, like many things, was annual. So it was always around the same time. So I promised myself, I said, this is every September. I'm going to save my money. So next year, I don't care where it's at. It could be in Africa. It could be, I'm
right.
And I did just that. So they came back. They was like, "Listen, we all need to make a Twitter account because like these girls was ambitious." Also, I made the Twitter name PR to Politics, just because I
Wow.
was sitting with the PR girls, and then I was studying political science. So I just made it as my Twitter handle, and then from there, the next year, the conference was in DC,
Wow.
and it was on politics and PR and alignment of messaging.
Wow.
God, if this is
Talk
not
about confirmation.
time, mind you, the main speakers were like Jim Margolis, who like ran Obama's Twitter, Al Gore's speechwriter. All these people
That's right.
were there, and they talked about how they made money, they built their consulting firms, all by doing the right thing and having a positive messaging and
That's right.
having firms that promoted positivity.
That's right. That's right.
Managing Obama's Twitter, writing speeches for Al Gore around the importance of environmental justice and all these important things and these important narratives. And I was like, if I ever wondered if this could be done,
That's right.
I have no, but as
You had
you
a
mentioned,
blueprint. You had a
I
blueprint.
had the blueprint, and but as you mentioned, a lot of them were men, and most of them were white men
Mm-hmm.
in that space of leading the messaging, even for
That's
people
right.
of color.
That's right.
So I think that that part kind of made me feel like, wow, like, can I do it? But like, I knew that I can do it in terms of a role. Like, I knew that the role exists. I knew that there were people paying people for social media. There were people paying people to write their speeches and build their messaging. So that part wasn't, foreign to me because I was meeting these professionals. So
That's
now the next barrier is, as a woman of color with limited access and a limited network, can I do that?
that's right.
And then that's what I started to work through. And I do feel like I'm empathetic when people don't have proximity to certain people, but I also do feel like between social media and events and Google and Eventbrite, you can build your proximity,
That's right.
you
That's
know?
right. And it's
So
all
that,
about a plan, right? So if this is something that you really want to do, there is so much access out there now, more access than it's ever been. If you have this little thing, you can do so much with it, right? You can write your narrative, take your pictures, post it, go viral. Like there's so many more things that we can do for our messaging and our branding that we weren't able to do before. And I always encourage my students and I encourage my small business owners to use AI to work smarter and not harder, right?
absolutely.
So help you. I'm not telling you to let it think critically for you, but what I am asking you to do is to write down your narrative and help and let AI help you shape your narrative so that you're putting your messaging out in a way that you can really take it to the next level. And that's what you're doing, Raven. I'm super, super proud of you. I'm proud of your start. I'm proud of where you are now. More importantly, I'm proud to work with you. So it is really a pleasure to have you on board, working with a couple of projects. But I had to have you come on the Coaxum Report. I had to have you come and tell your story because how our young people are able to move forward is to see people like you doing exactly what they want to do in the space that they want to do it in. And if they're unclear and unsure, they know that they can do it because of your story. You walked into Ruben Diaz's office with no expectation. You had no idea you were going to walk into a social work case,
Yeah.
right?
It was real.
Right. And you had to jump in and then do what you needed to do. But then more importantly, you reached back and you pulled your community into the office. Wait, you need this, you need that. And you showed them the access. You kept your mentor. You still keep her close.
Yes.
Like these are all the things that will guarantee your success. And so I'm super proud of you doing that. We talked about your barriers. We talked about some best practices and some big ideas. And I want you to end with one big idea because, it's funny how time flies when you're having fun. But it's almost time for us to get off. And before I leave, I want to hear your voice. What is a big idea that you would tell the young you, right? So if someone was 15 years old again and not sure about what their next steps were going to be, and maybe they don't have a mentor, should they seek a mentor? If they are not clear about internships, should they go on social media and start talking to like-minded people, joining PR groups or messaging groups or meetup groups in order to do it? Tell me what would you tell the young Raven to do now that you're successful in the space you're in and you're looking to be even more successful?
Something that I would say is to lean into every group. And what I say by that is being in PR, you have to have clear deliverables to help propel the client, right? So it can't be, oh, I work in PR, so I only want to network with journalists. No, because if there's a local church that has a newsletter that can help push my clients' messaging, then that's one thing. If one of my classmates becomes a popular rapper and we want to give toys back, and then now we know, so don't look at people directly on, okay, well, don't be too tunnel vision that you can't be innovative. That would be what I leave the audience with, because one of the things that helped me stand out in my industry is being able to pull certain people. And since I'm on campaigns and people are like, oh my God, I want to connect with this influencer. And I'm like, from the Bronx, man, let me call him right now. That's brother. You want what rapper? That's, you know what I mean? So it's like being able to know that I can monetize just off of my network, and I don't have to be tunnel vision and say, oh, you're in PR, only connect with journalists. No, you're in PR, but what are the other community structures out there that can help propel our messaging? That's so right. If you're an aspiring PR, I definitely encourage you to do that. And if you are a business owner who maybe you're at the point where you can't afford PR yet, or you're not ready for that financial transition, and you're doing your own messaging, don't be limited. Don't just be like, and then you never know who knows who knows who. Right. And being nice to people and appreciating people for just a repost, that's when your community will lean in and say, oh, matter of fact, my cousin knows a journalist, or this person. And that happens to me so many times. All of my clients right now in current projects are literally not people who I pitched. They're people that have come to me because they see my work with other people in their network. So I never say like, oh, well, no, you're not running for office, so I'm not trying to say hi to you. It's like, no, people are like, oh, she was respectful. She's so nice. She's so pleasant. Oh, yeah, she's the person that I will want to work with. So just make sure that you really are polite to your network. And even for the young people coming up, all your friends got to get older just like you. And when we get older, we're going to all be doing different things, and we can coordinate together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the Coaxum Report. Thank you for sharing your story. I wish you even more success. I look forward to working with you on more projects, and continue to be the PR to politics guru that we go to get all our information. And more importantly, just continue to do what you do. When you talk about your job, your face light up. And that to me is important, right? Because you are not just doing this as a job. This is a lifestyle for you. You're enjoying what you do. So thank you so much for being on the Coaxum Report, and I look forward to working with you. Take care.
Welcome to our TV network, your ultimate destination for all things exciting and essential. From mouth-watering food to the latest in fashion, health, education, music, movies, and news, plus thrilling sports and breathtaking travel, our TV network brings it all to you. Tune in today and experience the best of every world, all in one place, rtv.network.